Hello, my friends. Derek here from Bomb Socks, back with another week of Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ, one bite at a time. This week in the Come Follow Me, we are not hurting for material. We've got Luke chapter 12 through 17, and then John chapter 11. So there's a lot of stuff, and so the trick with this week, like many weeks, is like, what do I leave out? Because there's so many good things. So make sure you go in and read and see all the awesome things this week. So I wanted to start off with, in the Come Follow Me, it actually has a cool little heading. It says, I am blessed as I set my heart on eternal things. So the context going on here is Jesus is seeing a lot of people who are starting to follow him, but they're following him because of the things that he does. He's the miracle worker. He's the free bread guy. And so when he starts asking them to do things, that's when you see a lot of people start tapping out. So that's why here in the Come Follow Me curriculum, it says, why would God say, thou fool, to a hardworking, successful man who built great barns and filled them with fruits of his labors? Great story. In these chapters in Luke, the Savior teaches several parables that can help us lift our sights beyond the worldly to the eternal. This whole week has that vibe. Some of those parables are listed here. How would you summarize the message of each? What do you think the Lord is telling you? It gives you the foolish rich man, which is a great story. The Great Supper is a wonderful parable. The prodigal son, which we'll be hitting on later this week. The unjust steward. The rich man and Lazarus. There's some wonderful little parables here. One of the ones I want to hit on is not mentioned here, and I like to call it the parable of the unbuilt condo. Okay, now again, Jesus didn't work in condos, I get that. But you'll see what I mean here with this. Several years ago, my family and I would go on a vacation up to a resort here in Utah. Beautiful mountain area, our kids loved it. As long as there's a TV and a swimming pool and a place to go walk around and see pretty things, I think my family's pretty cool with that. And so we would go up there for several years, and it was a lot of fun. Right around that area, I was always intrigued because there was an area over to the side of it that had tall foundations. It had rebar kind of poking out of it, puddles all around, big piles of dirt. It just looked like an unfinished area, and it stayed that way for several years. I just thought it was kind of interesting because, they had it all roped off, make sure nobody ever goes over by that. But I started asking around about it, and what it was supposed to be another phase of these condos, supposed to be nicer, newer, and all kinds of cool stuff, but they had run out of money, and they'd run out of investors, and they just didn't have enough. So those things sat there, and I haven't been up there for several years. Maybe they finished them, who knows? But they sat there for probably a good 15 years, just not doing anything. And it was interesting because you're just sitting there staring at these things going, what could these things have been? Well, you go into Luke chapter 14 and you start around verse 27. This is the parable of the unbuilt condo. Jesus refers to it as a tower, but you'll see here. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. And then he goes on and gives this parable. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost? That is a powerful phrase. Whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Verse 31, or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. So that's the thing with this is, as I was reading this, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so me, right? How many books have I started that I've got bookmarks in the middle of? How many exercise programs? How many great ideas? I'm an idea junkie. I love the ideas, but oftentimes they don't make it to the finished product because we don't always sit down and count the cost first. As I was thinking about this, I remember Elder Uchtdorf, Dieter F. Uchtdorf, gave a wonderful Ensign article. I think it was a First Presidency message a few years ago, but he said this: how many times have we started something and not finished? Diets, exercise programs, commitment to read the scriptures daily, decisions to be better disciples of Jesus Christ. How often do we make resolutions in January and pursue them with red hot determination for a few days, a few weeks, or even a few months, only to find that by October, the flame of our commitment is little more than cold ash? We have good intentions. We start strong. We want to be our best self, but in the end, we leave our resolutions shredded, discarded, and forgotten. It's human nature to stumble, fail, and sometimes want to drop out of the race. But as disciples of Jesus Christ, we have committed not only to begin the race, but also to finish it. And finish it with our torch still burning brightly. The Savior promised his disciples, "He that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." So that's just kind of how I want to start off today, is just this little parable of the unbuilt tower or condo or whatever you want to call it. But as we each figure out how to count the cost first, then we can see if we have enough to finish that. We set those plans in motion and we keep going with it. For me, that's a wonderful way to start off this week, and I love what it teaches me, and it helps me understand what the Savior wants me to do and gives me some motivation to be able to continue in it. I'm grateful for it, and I know that it's true. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing these messages. We're so grateful that you do that. And please check out our amazingly comfortable gospel-themed socks at bombsocks.com. Godspeed. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.